I'm Dave Abrams.
And I'm Kristin Lagana. Welcome to Arundel County Week in Review. In this episode, we'll get an update on the Maryland General Assembly and meet two of the wonderful ladies who run our senior centers. But first, making headlines this week. We're bringing back a familiar name in the fight against drug addiction. The D.A.R.E program is returning to some county middle schools in a renewed effort to reach kids before they try drugs and alcohol. County Executive Steve Shue and Police Chief Tim Altamari made the announcement at Lyndale Middle School in Linthicum in front of a custom police vehicle featuring artwork designed by the students of Freetown Elementary School. Shue said it's time for a reboot of the program that was pretty much abandoned during the last economic downturn.
I'm excited to announce that thanks to the efforts of Tim Altamari and our partner, Superintendent George Arlotto, D.A.R.E is coming back to Anne Arundel County. As some of you may be aware, D.A.R.E, or Drug Abuse Resistance Education, was very much part of our community from the early 1990s till 2003, when, as a result of the recession, the program was cut due to lack of funding. But starting February 5th, trained D.A.R.E instructors from our police department will begin teaching at Corkadel, Annapolis, and Lyndale Middle Schools. These officers will help explain the dangers of opioids, substances like heroin, oxycodone, Percocet, and help educate the next generation of Anne Arundel County citizens to stop before they start.
Now, there are, of course, critics of the program. Studies by the Justice Department and the University of Chicago showed no evidence that the program led to reduced incidents of drug use. But Altamari said he believes those numbers didn't tell the whole story, and this new version of D.A.R.E takes a different approach.
It's hard to quantify a negative, and that's what we were doing when we threw stones at D.A.R.E in the past 15 years. I'll tell you this, we didn't have 155 people dying in Anne Arundel County from opioids when we were doing D.A.R.E in the schools, and it's not singular. I'm not saying that that's a singular success, but it's about the partnerships, it's about cops mentoring, it's about being in the schools as much as we can, and that's what kind of led the county executive and I to this decision. It's here, we're hearing that it's working better, and we're going to give it a shot because really the next second best that I can think of is non-existent.
The newer version of the program focuses on being honest, safe, and responsible instead of preaching to kids not to do drugs. It also focuses on the core concept of establishing a strong relationship between young people and law enforcement. The pilot program is starting at Lyndale, Annapolis, and Corkadel Middle Schools. We think it's a great idea to get to kids while they're still young. I love the D.A.R.E program.
Me too. I'm not afraid to say it.
Do you want to know a little known fact about a fifth grader named Kristin Lagana?
No, please tell me your D.A.R.E. You have a D.A.R.E story?
I do have a D.A.R.E story.
Oh, this is awesome. Please.
So there was a poster contest for elementary school students in the county, and fifth grade Kristin Lagana won. And my D.A.R.E poster was featured at the Board of Ed for years.
What?
Yeah, I wonder where it is now.
I wonder where it is.
Probably
too.
Recycled.
Well, you saw, these kids, they did some bling. They did like the airbrush on the car.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that it does have a really positive message. Instead of just saying no, 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 which isn't really that effective, say, why don't you try being responsible? Or why don't you, they want to be more like an adult. So tell them that they're having those qualities of an adult by not doing drugs.
I did a little research on this because I wasn't familiar with the notion that D.A.R.E didn't work. And one of my favorite quotes in there was, so at some point, D.A.R.E got so big and so popular that organizations started scrutinizing it. And, bad economy came up, things started happening, and they quoted the director at the time when their money fell through the bottom, like it went from several million to like almost down to zero. And he said, "We're as white as driven snow. Like, why would you take our money away? Like it's kids, it's cops, it's like great, it makes everybody feel good."
Right.
So it's a weird thing that you see out, like some people feel very strongly that they don't like this. And it's like, why wouldn't you try? Why wouldn't you? And it's like the chief said, like, you don't know which kids, this benefited.
Yeah.
It's not going to show up in a statistic.
And that's always been something. People respond to different things. They get their media certain ways. They respond to different programs different ways. So maybe it will reach kids that other ways we've tried cannot. So.
Yep. And it can't be a bad thing to have police officers interacting with kids.
No.
It's just never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So we believe that the D.A.R.E program is going to be great, and we're very excited for it.
I am.
And good for you, Chief Alto. I know this is one of Chief's priorities that he's been trying to get to happen for a while, so good for him.
Thank you.
And he's going to will it to work.
Thank you, Chief Altomari.
Watch him. Well, Kristin, if you're looking for an uplifting story, it seems like the Naval Academy never disappoints. Navy football offensive coordinator Jerren Jasper and his son Jerren Jasper are two very happy guys today.
Why?
Well, that's because Jerren, a 14-year-old freshman at Broadneck High and quarterback, received a life-saving heart transplant.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah.
The procedure was performed at Children's National Medical Center in Washington. Jerren lived with a heart defect for years and suffered a setback after complications from a surgery in August. He had already been living with a mechanical pump to deliver blood throughout his body. We're all pulling for Jerren and the entire Navy and Broadneck family that he will make a full recovery and get back on the football field really soon. Also, Kristin, shout out to my friend Heather Dinich for writing the ESPN story.
Shout out, Heather.
Heather sat next to me when I was a reporter at the Capitol. She was the education reporter, and now she's big time.
Wow.
It's so exciting to see my friends who I grew up with in newspapers doing big.
That's awesome,
exciting
Heather.
things now.
Yeah.
Good job, Heather Dinich. And congratulations to the Jaspers. Is that a great story or what?
You know, the modern marvels of our medical world. Quite some alliteration right there, huh?
That is some alliteration,
Never
Kristin.
cease to amaze me. The fact that we
Right?
can do things like heart transplants. I mean, here's a little, well, not little, here's a young man that was having some difficulties,
Yeah.
and because of an unfortunate circumstance that happened with someone else, so we were able to take that heart and able to give him another chance.
Be an organ donor, people.
Be an organ
'cause
donor.
You never know.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just went out there on a limb and said, hopefully he gets on the football field. I don't know, you know, what
You have to give this
how
some
far
time
you
to
can
take.
come back from
Right.
something like that. But knowing, you know, this family and this kid, I'm sure he's going to be aching to get back
We're
on
all
the field.
standing behind you, Jerren.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
congratulations, and we hope
Lots
for a
of love
speedy
to the
recovery.
Jaspers, yes.
Absolutely. Go Navy.
Go Navy! Well, one man's trash is another man's treasure, a wise adage that couldn't ring any truer for 8th grader Trishelle Weed of Old Mill, Middle South. Trishelle took home first place last Thursday in the County Recycling Division's 10th annual Recycling in 3D competition. The contest challenges middle school students to create sculptures out of recyclables, and while in years past, the division has stipulated that projects be created with a holiday or winter theme, a new subject matter was presented to celebrate the contest's 10-year milestone, our very own Chesapeake Bay. There are over 30 projects from 60 students representing 9 middle schools, including Arundel, Bates, Brooklyn Park, Central, Crofton, Magathie River, Old Mill South, Severn, and Severna Park middle schools. Here is Trishelle with her grand prize winner, Beauty Emerges Save the Bay. Incredible.
As usual, I am astounded by the
All
talent.
of the projects were amazing, and I always say this with our contests, but I never hope I have to be a judge because I would never be able to decide. But the artistry behind this was a goose.
I was going to say, that's not a
What kind
heron.
of bird? Yeah, we had a heron that won second place, and it was made out of aluminum cans, and that was also amazing. That took second place prize. But this one, just the artistry, as you can see from the photo, just amazing how she curled the paper to make it look like that feathered look for the wings.
The feathers look real.
It looks awesome. And she used plastic bottles on the inside, like water bottles and milk jugs. So all stuff that's recycled. And it was amazing. It was amazing to see. It was a showstopper. So.
Well, congratulations to Trishelle.
Lots of love, Trishelle.
And also, I want to just mention, I think this is a good time to mention while the kids are paying attention because they want to make a bird that cool.
Yeah.
Don't put your recycling in a trash bag.
Yeah, don't put your recycling in a trash bag.
Do not put your recycling in a trash bag.
Let it loose.
Just leave it loose in your bin and they'll come
Leave it
get it,
loose.
okay?
Yep.
If it's windy, put the top down.
Yep. Things
Right?
that end up being bagged often result in lost recyclables. The machines can't open the bags. Let it loose so the machine can actually process it.
And you know, I was talking to your boss, Mr. Chris Phipps, yesterday.
Yes.
And he was telling me that China is now being very restrictive of the recyclings that they're accepting.
Yes.
The recyclables, not the recyclings.
Recyclables.
And this is going to take a chunk out of our revenue and we get a nice chunk of change. We get about $2 million a year from recycling when we're all in. So people, you know, it's costing the county money when you're doing stuff that the contractor won't accept. So
Right,
just please,
and
we know you don't like it, but
If we're
just-
having lost recyclables, they're not getting sold. selling recyclables actually helps keep your fees down. So
Exactly. Everybody's happy.
you want to make sure
Just-
you're recycling right.
You know, if you really like using the bag, dump the bag out into your receptacle outside and put the bag back
in
in,
your
and now
inside.
you're recycling even more. It's just amazing how much, right?
Way to go, Dave.
Boom. Come on, peeps. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we will talk to the directors of the Pascal and South County Senior Centers. Take a look at our community calendar for events happening around town, and we'll be right back.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana.
Well, welcome back. Joining us in the studio this week, we're delighted to have two very special guests with us, Miss Nancy Allred from the Pascal Senior Center and Miss Suzie Antkowiak from the South County Senior Center. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I know you've been here to the studio before, Nancy, but this is the first time
It
for
is,
you,
yes.
right, Suzie?
Yes, it is.
We're so excited to have you guys.
Welcome to Glen Burnet.
Welcome, welcome. So, Nancy, how long have you been with Pascal?
About 26 years.
26 years.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
tell us a bit about it. Tell us a bit about Pascal.
Well, it's a very large, active senior center located in Glen Burnie, and it's very conveniently located just off of 97 on Dorsey Road, it's exit 15A off of Route 97. And I like that it's in a really nice park-like setting. We back up against the BWI Extension Trail, and we also are right next to Sawmill Creek Park.
Oh, so a lot of nature opportunities.
Yes.
I love it. And then Suzie, how long have you been with South County?
I've been in South County for 4 years, but
Okay.
I've been in senior centers with the county for 18.
18 years. Wow.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite thing about the South County Senior Center?
What I love about South County is that it's kind of like a family environment. Like everybody's friendly, everybody's welcoming. Our volunteers are great. You know, you walk in the door and come to the front desk, and they're just happy to see you.
It's like Cheers.
Kind of, yeah.
Where everybody knows
Everybody
your
knows your
name.
name.
Yes,
Good one,
exactly,
Kristin.
exactly.
And Nancy, what's your favorite class offering right now at Pascal?
Right now, we're trying to launch a ukulele group.
Whoa,
a
wait, what?
ukulele club. Ukulele.
We
I
are
wanna
so
come.
in on that.
Yeah, we
Yes,
want to
we've-
come.
We've had a couple of workshops, and we're actually having an intro class coming up soon, and then we're hoping to offer it as a college offering come April.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, the
And
response has been good.
I love it. I want to come hear a concert when all is said and taught. Suzie, what about you? What about classes at South County?
We I actually have a rock and roll history lecture series happening. We had
Easy.
Yeah.
Missing out.
I went to the Elvis one at Pasadena.
Yes.
It was really
We
good.
started with Elvis in
So
January since
cool.
it was his birthday in January, and so my next one, I think he's doing Fats Domino next, and Chubby Checkers in there. So it's great. We had such a great turnout.
And then
for
the
first one.
ukulele players can come up and visit, and
And
they can
play
play Elvis
Fats
songs.
Domino.
rock and roll on their ukulele.
Right?
I like this, a blending. Yes.
But those are just, I mean, you have so many programs that, like, there is no way that somebody could tell me, oh, they have nothing for me to do. There's so
right.
many.
That's right. We have a lot of fitness classes, art classes, and there's activities that the seniors themselves come in with ideas, and if we can have space, we try to accommodate them, because we never know if one person has an interest in something, there's probably others out there that are interested in the same thing.
Yep.
And aside from the classes, you guys, I remember you've done pretty cool field trips in the past too. So whether it's to theater offerings or whether it's to games.
Casino.
Yeah,
Casino, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
So tax time is coming. We're not far away from there, and I know that you have some experts that help people out with that. Tell us a little bit about that.
We're very fortunate to have volunteers that go through a training with the IRS, and they volunteer their time to do simple tax returns. That's the good thing. And the good thing is that we have a lot of repeat customers. The not so good thing is that we run out of appointments very
we do.
quickly.
Yeah.
It's a very popular,
It's very in demand.
popular service. And there are some criteria, so I won't get into them in detail here, but there's criteria because they are for lower income and simple returns. But you can still call the center, and if there's openings, I think most of the centers offer the service, and if we're able to accommodate people, we certainly will.
We will.
Are people already starting to ask about it? Are you
Absolutely.
scheduling already?
We're already scheduling.
You know,
Started
Kristen, I
scheduling
think
on
it's one of
Monday.
those things.
Oh, wow.
Monday? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where the older you get, the wiser you get, but you never figure out how to do your taxes.
Yeah.
No matter how long you've been around, you just can't.
just hand them
if
off
you
to
can't
someone
do it,
else.
you can't
Yeah.
do it. That's what I do too. I'm not no good at it.
So lots of exciting stuff happening at the center. Do you have any special events that are coming up?
I guess we have some Black History Month programs coming up.
Yes.
We're actually going to have a park ranger coming to the Pascal Senior Center from the Harriet Tubman Visitor Center in Cambridge,
I
in the
saw
Cambridge
that.
area.
I
So
saw
we're
that.
looking forward to learning more about the new center.
That's awesome. And you know, February, of course, is Black History Month, and we also have Valentine's Day.
Absolutely.
Oh, what are the seniors doing for
Sweet.
Valentine's
Yeah.
Day?
And we're actually having a Valentine's Day party on Valentine's Day.
We want to know all about this.
Yes.
Tell us
Well,
the whole
Ray
thing.
Apollo. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's very popular at the senior centers, and he's going to come and sing. And
It's a good name.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
he like a loungy, like a Sinatra?
He does Motown.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah, so it's good for
It's
dancing
right up my alley.
or good for singing along.
Love
yeah.
it, love
yeah.
it.
And we're doing some, giveaways that day, like, little chocolate hearts for everybody. And yeah, so it'll be fun.
That's adorable.
So is this
Yeah.
like a dance?
It can be. I mean, people get up and dance just because the spirit moves them, so they will.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an impromptu thing, but yeah,
A lot of
refreshments.
dating happening at the senior centers?
some.
Huh?
Yeah, some.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
What about a Pascal? Anything for Valentine's Day in the works?
We have entertainment, but
Yeah.
I think we're also going to do a Mardi Gras program, and we're going to do that as a morning event, a morning music and king cake.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
Gras.
I was just
she
in
likes
New
king cake.
Orleans and I had king cake and it was very exciting. So yeah, that's another one, like a Fat Tuesday, like pancake dinner, and that's great.
Yeah.
I want to come by the senior center. You guys have a lot
Well,
going
you're
on.
always welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I should. So if I am over 55 and I'm out there and I'm thinking, you know what, this all sounds really exciting. I want to get in on the action. What's the first thing I should do if I'm interested in checking out a senior center?
Probably the first thing you might want to do is check out our website. We have on the county website, we have all of the senior centers listed with all of their activities, and I know they all have wonderful programs, so that might be a first one. And then the next step would be to actually come into a senior center and fill out a simple registration form. Once you join one center, you can automatically go to all 7 senior centers in Anne
I
Arundel
didn't know
County.
that. So once you have access to one, you have access to
You're
all.
in. Once you're in, you're in.
You're a member at all of
Great.
them.
And I guess when you come by to check it out, you guys give a little tour.
Oh,
and-
absolutely.
Yeah.
And real quick, give us your phone number for South County.
South County is 410-222-1927.
Okay, and Pascal?
Is 410-222-6680. And you can
There it
always
is.
check us out on Facebook.
Yep.
On Facebook.
Facebook.
We love Facebook pages.
Yep, we're there too.
Just search Pascal and search for the South
Yep.
County Senior Centers.
Sure.
Pop right up.
Awesome.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for all you're doing for our community and helping keep our older adults engaged and having fun, and maybe me and Dave too, because
Sure.
I know I want to come check out the ukulele.
Ukulele.
class,
Yeah.
And I want
Yes.
to come check out the Motown singer.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for coming in, and happy Valentine's Day, both.
Thank
to
you.
Well,
Happy
thank you.
Valentine's Day to
Thank
you.
you.
And happy Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, and all of it, the Mardi Gras, all of it. We'll be right back with more Weekend of Review right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Welcome back. The Maryland General Assembly is in session for the months of February and March before wrapping up on April 4th, my mom's birthday. Michelle, happy birthday.
Mama Lagana, happy birthday.
Michelle Corkadel stopped by to talk with Delegate Mike Malone for an update. Michelle?
Thanks, Kristin and Dave. I had the opportunity to stop over at the State House and ran into one of our delegates in District 33, Michael Malone. Thank you so much for taking the time to share a couple minutes with me. So tell me, Mike, session has just started, a couple weeks have gone by, and now it's time to start focusing in on the priorities. Can you share with the viewers what your priorities are during session?
As we enter the third week here, one of my main priorities, and this has been something I've worked on for actually over 15 years, is stopping the gerrymandering here in Anne Arundel County, in particular with our congressional districts. This week I'm going to be dropping and introducing a bill which will require our congressional districts to be drawn so that they are continuous, compact, and that due regard is given for geographic and political boundaries. In other words, it would give Anne Arundel County a chance to have their own congressman or congresswoman again, which we haven't really had since the 1980s.
Since the 1980s? Oh, Mike, definitely need some reform there. So speaking of districts, what area do you represent?
I represent Crofton, Gambrels, Severna Park, Odenton, Crownsville, Millersville, Cape St. Clair, Broadneck, Arnold, Annapolis, Riva. That sort of south central Anne Arundel County portion is what District 33 is comprised of.
And you share that with two other delegates, correct?
I do. The two current delegates are Tony McConkey and Sid Saab.
Great. And you guys have some other things up on the agenda in addition to what we like to call the gerrymander bill. And what would that be?
Some other things that we're concerned about, in particular, there's been some discussion about what's going to happen with the state land at Crownsville and the fairgrounds. We're very concerned about that. We're trying to make sure that it's used for the best for the community, best for the county, and also to make sure our state resources are used properly. There's been some talk of a stadium project going in. My big concern with that is I think there's some interest of having the state provide a lot of money for that project, and I try to be very conservative with our state funds, and I don't necessarily think that's the best use of our state funds to put a lot of money into something that is not going to directly support the community or the county.
And that money could be better probably spent with some infrastructure in place, or at least make sure before the project goes through that some infrastructure is intact.
Yeah, a challenge the government has, and then I try to be, see changed, is to put infrastructure in first before we have building. That's, we're becoming more and more congested. In particular, 97 is getting worse and worse. That even leads back to my concern regarding the gerrymandering. Because we don't have our own congressional person and our roads are federal, we don't have that one person who's fighting for the whole county.
Thank you so much. And lastly, I think there's some business that you've already started last session and is moving along quite well.
Yeah, the one thing that's going on, which is very exciting, is the Crofton High School and continuing and voting for the continuing funding for Crofton High School. I've had a purple shirt sitting in my drawer of my house for about 15 years, hoping for a Crofton High School, and the final funding is coming forth. So we're finally going to see a Crofton High School, and I'm excited to vote for that continued funding and the final funding.
Yeah, I saw you at the groundbreaking, and it was quite the celebration. I think the residents, not just in Crofton, but this is going to have a positive effect on education throughout the county, and it's thanks in part to your leadership.
Thank you very much, Michelle. It's something Crofton has needed for a long time. It's great to see. It's great to see the leadership of County Executive Shue to make that happen. We haven't had a new high school completely new high school since Broadneck, and I wasn't. I think I was in middle school when Broadneck got built, and I'm not a young person now.
But you've been an Anne Arundel County resident and in our school systems as a child, along with your children, correct?
That's correct. I started in kindergarten here in Anne Arundel County, and I graduated from Arundel High School in 1985, and I'm a proud parent of 2 South River High School graduates.
Well, thank you so much for all the hard work you're doing. I know you guys are working nonstop, maybe only a couple of weeks, but believe it or not, there are already piles with bluebacks on them and heaping up because it's going to be definitely a busy session. So thank you once again for taking time out to say hi to the viewers. And now back to you.
Thanks, Michelle, and thank you to Delegate Malone for all of his hard work in Annapolis.
Getting the job done for the people.
Getting the job done.
How about that?
Yeah, so Sunday, big game
Super
day.
Bowl Sunday is here. Can you believe it?
I know a lot of people aren't really invested in this game, particularly from around here, but I think we all still like the commercials, the halftime show, and the food.
Meaning Kristin cares about the commercials, the halftime show, and the food.
Are you really concerned about the game? I would just like to see Lady Brady get that whooping.
Good luck with that.
I know. You want the Patriots to win. I'm pulling for the Eagles, and for that reason, I am making Philly cheesesteak sliders.
Ooh, I like that.
So instead of like the whole big sub, because there's a lot of food going on the game day, just like a kind of like King's Hawaiian roll size of a slider.
Okay. I actually have something to add here.
Okay,
that
go.
might be useful to you.
I welcome it.
Have you considered a slider casserole?
That's what this is.
That's
you
what it is.
Bake it all at once.
You
and
put it in the tray, you melty,
set it all
it's
up.
all
I'm not doing
melty.
it one by one. Yeah, you do the whole thing.
Yes.
Kind of like, it's what they call, pardon the title, funeral sandwiches, when you do
Oh.
them all in one pan.
Like this
It's
is the
really
last
easy.
thing I want before I die?
No, people bring them to funerals because they're easy to make,
Oh.
and you don't have to put a lot of thought into them, and everyone loves them. They're comforting. They're usually ham and cheese.
Okay.
This is that same setup where you remove all the top buns, put all the fillings in, put the top buns back, slide it in like a casserole.
Okay, good. I like that.
So
Next.
Philly cheesesteak
Is that
sliders.
steakum with steakum?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
next.
And I believe I'm going to do my famous buffalo chicken dip.
Okay, nobody would say no to buffalo chicken
Everyone
dip.
loves
It's the
buffalo
best thing in
chicken
the
dip.
world.
Yeah, so.
Okay, do we have a number 3?
I was thinking about a dessert, and I was thinking maybe doing a cookie just because it's easy. I make
What
these
dessert do they eat in Philly?
cheesecake, Philly cheesecake.
I was gonna like say an expletive to make it Philly. It's whatever kind of cake or muffin or donut with an expletive. That's the Philly.
yeah.
That's the Philly
Cake!
version. We should also mention, that you gotta love my favorite franchise, the Washington Redskins.
Yes.
They have such a talent for making news.
Oh,
right
no.
before the Super Bowl, and it's not about how well they play.
Yeah,
it's
Kirk
about
Cousins,
who they traded or who they
yes.
got. So Alex Smith. So I was listening to the radio on the way here, and a guy got it perfectly, which is so the Redskins traded for Alex Smith, who played for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are coached by Andy Reid. Okay. Before that, Andy Reid coached the Philadelphia Eagles for many, many years. They went to the Super Bowl. Their quarterback was Donovan McNabb. They traded Donovan McNabb to the Redskins inside the division.
Saw a
People were like,
sick
Donovan McNabb,
inbred
and it was
family.
terrible. It
Yeah.
was a debacle.
Yeah.
And so people are saying it's happening all over again.
Repeat,
Andy
yes.
Reid is doing
History
it to us
repeats
all, and
itself.
all we can do is sit and watch and suffer.
Yeah.
All right, so my prediction is, I know it's easy to do and it's what everybody's doing, but I'm going to pick the Patriots because I just can't see how the Patriots are not going to get this done.
Do you have a score in mind? Or?
I'm going to go with, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say 17-14.
Okay.
A low scoring affair.
Low score. I was thinking higher than that, but
Okay.
still a close. Had a 3-point difference just like you did. And I was
All right.
going to say 27-24.
You got 27-24 Eagles, so we
Eagles.
both have it decided by a field goal.
Yep.
I think the Eagles' defense is going to be very good, and
I do
the
too.
Patriots may not be lighting up the scoreboard like they usually do. So this might be
This might be a really good
slugfest.
game. Yeah.
It might.
Whatever you're doing, have fun, be safe, don't drink and drive.
Absolutely. Call Kristin, and she will give you a ride home.
Don't call Kristin.
Don't call Kristin. That wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archived episodes online anytime on Facebook, maybe YouTube, maybe Twitter. I don't know.
By searching.
Just search for Arundel TV.
Nice.
And please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, and we will see you next time.
Eagles. E-A-G-L-E-S. I don't know.
Redskins in 2020.